Shalom Yidin! This week we have a double parsha of Parashas Chukas and Parashas Balak. In Parashas Chukas we see yet again Bnei Yisrael, they're complaining about Hashem, they're complaining about being in the midbar, being in the desert, as if they haven't learned all the other times what happens when they complain. And this time, what does Hashem do? He sends a swarm of poisonous snakes. Those snakes start biting people and people start dying. And of course, Bnei Yisrael comes to Moshe Rabbeinu saying, Moshe, help us, we don't know what to do. Daven to Hashem for us, that this epidemic of these snakes to stop and go away. Moshe davens, and Hashem has such an interesting response. What does Hashem say to do? Hashem says, make yourself a copper snake, attach it on top of a pole, and then they're going to be healed. Things will start getting better. Don't worry about it. So that's what Moshe does. And of course, as we know, this copper snake doesn't have any powers. It wasn't some type of special medication. What was really happening? Chazal says that they would see the snake and they would be inspired to do tshuva and daven, their own tefillos. And from this, we see such an important message. I see it myself, and I'm sure you do too. And that is sometimes other people's tefillos aren't enough. They're not the one going through what you're going through. Moshe Rabbeinu's tefillos weren't enough. They had to daven themselves, they had to do tshuva themselves. So often in our society, we see maybe someone is in line for a big promotion. They go tell 5, 10, 15, 20 people, please daven that I get this promotion. Maybe someone has to go for a surgery and they tell a bunch of people, please daven for me. And of course, those tefillos have merit. But which tefillos have the most merit? And that's yours when you completely delve into yourself, when you completely just give up yourself to Hashem, when you have an emotional and powerful tefillah, when you do tshuva. These are the things that gives the last hammer strike on that nail into answering your tefillos. Not just telling other people to daven for you. You have to do it yourself. That will have the most impact. And now on to Parashas Balak. Yet again, we see the Jews fall into the trap of the Yetzer Hara. Bnei Yisrael falls into the trap, and the men start marrying the Moabite, the Midianite women, and they start doing avodah zarah, worshiping idols. And what do we do here? What happens? Unfortunately here, tshuva is a little too far gone, and the punishment was death. 24,000 Yidden died. And from here, I think we could take another important message. Yes, of course, we need to support our IDF members 100% with financials, with physical. People need to volunteer, everything, all the above. Yes, yes, yes. But from all of these different things we're reading in the Torah, what brings the Jews' downfall? What brings psara? What brings epidemics? What brings all these things into the world? And that's when Bnei Yisrael is not following Hashem's words, when we're not doing enough mitzvahs, when we're not doing proper tshuva, when we're falling into the trap of the Yetzer Hara. We need to be preemptive. War is something that is after it happens. We've already done this bad thing, or we as a nation have not been doing what we're supposed to do, and war is what happens. But you want to be preventive. You want to stop war from starting in the first place. We got to come together. We got to do more mitzvos. We have to speak less lashon hara. So we will all be zoiche to daven to Hashem, to do tshuva, to bring the geula. May you all have a beautiful Shabbat. And of course, don't forget to stay inspired.